Hello friends, welcome back to Devtastic. So in this video, we will create a simple dice application using Flutter on Mac. So in my last video, I have shown how to create a Flutter application using terminal. So in this video, we will see one more way of creating Flutter applications. So that type Shift Command P on your Visual Studio Code. So there will be a command palette. So here you just type Flutter. So there will be a suggestion saying Flutter new project. Just click enter. So now you will get one more set of options. There is an application, empty application, skeleton application. So you can just directly click on application here. So now you need to select where that application should be created. As we already seen in my last video, so we have created a Flutter projects folder to for our Flutter applications. So I'll select this folder and I'll click this button. So now we need to enter the project name because we are working on a dice. So I'll give dice underscore application. Okay. And I'll click enter. Yes, as you can see, our dice application is created and you can see all the folder structure. We have all the folders which are required and our main.dart. Okay. We'll start with creating a fine gradient color as a background first. Then we will start building our application. So I'll clear all this content from my main.dart so that we can start from scratch. Okay. So we will start from scratch by adding a void main because that is the starting point. Okay. So for this one, we need a run app method. So we need to pass an widget. As you know, Flutter is kind of a tree of a widgets. So here I'll take material app. Okay, and inside material app, I'll say home. Again, this should be a scaffold. And here I'll declare the body. And let's say for now we can say body can be a container. Okay. And okay, I've already mentioned, let's say we can create some gradient backgrounds. So we need to decorate our container. So that we need to use a decoration property. It should be a box decorator. And here the gradient. So gradient, it's kind of a accepts linear gradient. Again, this accepts a list actually. Okay, we can pass multiple colors to create the gradient. Okay. So here we can say color dot from ARGB. This alpha we can give it as, or this alpha we can give it as 255. So here you can select whatever the color you need. Okay. So for now I will be selecting maybe 227 and one more color. I'm just planning to create a gradient from two colors. 255. Yes, so I have created two colors here. I'll just close the list. So now we need to align the gradient. So where should the gradient start and where should the gradient end, right? So that there is a properties called begin, and for this I'll give alignment as alignment dot top left, and one more end will be bottom, alignment dot bottom right. Right. Okay. Yes. So now gradient background should be ready by now. And let us, I'll save this file and let's run the application and see how it will look. So as I already mentioned in my previous videos, we need to select the simulator or emulator before running the application. Okay, I'll just open the terminal here to run this. Okay, okay, Flutter run. So we'll wait for the application to deploy to the device which I have already selected. I have selected iPhone 16 emulator simulator. Application is already deployed. Let me open the simulator. Yes, as you can see, now we have the um, application running in our device. Okay, let's add a some text component to this on top of this background. Okay, that we can use it later. I'll do child, and let's say I'll mark it, align it in a center. Okay, child. So text. I'll give some sample data here for now. That is devtastic. Okay, I'll save this file and I'll restart the application. As you can see, we got this devtastic here on the simulator. So now, as you can see, we have created one container component, right? So now if we keep on adding our dice application, dice components and click actions, everything to the same file, it will become a big. So what I'll do in the same file, I'll do class container extends stateless widget, because we are not using any state properties here. Let's say that is a stateless widget. Every stateless widget should override a build method that we all know. So I'll do override build, and again this build method should return the widget. So I'll remove these two because now we will be implementing this. Yes, so now here we need to return the widget. So what should be the widget here? So whatever we have a container here, that will be a widget, right? So I'll copy till this container and I'll paste it in the return statement. Okay, and in the body, I'll say gradient container. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll restart the application and you should see the same output, even though we have classified the gradient container into different class. So now to maintain a clean code, let's put this gradient container into a separate file itself. So now I'll expand lib. So we'll create a new file called gradient underscore container. Enter. So now I'll copy all this code and I'll put it in the gradient controller. So now let's go back to main.dart. So here we have an error because we need to give the path or import statement to get this gradient container. Go to quick fix and I'll select this gradient container.dart. So they should fix that error. I'll save this and I'll restart the application. So you should see the exact same application which is running in the simulator. So there is no change. So now we can again simplify this gradient container again because we have this text here, right, which is having a static text. So we can create one more component which takes this text as an input and which will show. Let us create that as well. I'll go to new, maybe we'll call it as styled text dot. Again, this will be class extends stateless widget. Okay, yeah, again override the build. Override build method. So we'll remove this code and I'll do return text. So now here I'll put devtastic component. Okay, I'll save this. So from here now, instead of this text, what I'll do, I'll call styled text. Okay, I'll save this. And if I restart the application, see, you can see devtastic component. Right now, here we are calling another component which is a styled text. So now we'll make it dynamic. So we'll from gradient container we'll pass the text what should be seen in the UI, and in the styled text dot we will get that text and we will put it here. Then it will become a dynamic, right? So we'll do that. First, our styled text should have a constructor that is styled text. Then we'll go super dot key. Okay, so now we'll do a positional property that is dot. Let's say text maybe for now. Okay, so we should have a same property in the class. Then it will map the same text to the whatever we are getting. Okay, so now I will bind this text in place of this static text. So now this component part is done. So now we will be getting error in the gradient container where we have a styled text, because this styled text is expecting a property, but we are not sending that. So for now I'll do dev static from. Okay, I'll do save, I'll do restart. Yes, as you can see, now we are passing a text from gradient container to styled text, and in styled text we are printing that. So that is fine. So now at least we will give some more contrast to this text by adding some text style, that is color, let's say colors dot white, which will looks good on orange foreground. Also font size, let's say 30. Save this. Yes. Okay, this is working as expected. Now I'll remove this test and I'll put it only this much. Okay, I'll reload, hot reload. Yeah, this is working perfect. Okay, so now we will move on to the next step in our development phase, that is adding a dice images. So okay, as we already seen in my last videos, so whenever we need to add any kind of asset, so we need to add those in pubspec.yaml file, right? So I'll directly open the pubspec.yaml, right? So in this file, if you could scroll to the bottom, you will see this portion where which is already commented, but you just uncomment this. You say there is an asset and there is a few images. This is kind of a samples. You can remove those. Okay, and we need to add our images here. So before that, we need to get our images to this project directory, right? So that what I'll do, on the root directory, I'll create a folder called assets. Inside that assets, I'll create a new folder called images, because asset can be anything, right? So images. So I already have the I already have the images ready. So I'll copy all the images and I'll drag and drop to the images folder. Yes, I have dice 1 to dice 6. So now I need to do the same thing here. I need to give the path like assets slash images slash dice 1 1.png. Fine. So now this part is let's add the dice images into our page and a button to change the dice. Okay, so I'll again go to this gradient container where we have a text. So for now we have a text here, right? So below this devtastic, I need to show a dice, right? So that I need one more child to be added. So we'll create a column. Child, let's say column. This will accept children's, a list of components. Let's say I'll copy, paste it here. Okay. So now I can add image, because we are getting that from asset, right? Put it asset, that is assets slash images slash dice1 dot png. Okay, I will save this. I'll rerun this application. As you can see, we got this, but the dice is very big on the screen. So this image asset will accept one more property called width. We'll set it like maybe 200 for now. Save it, rerun it. Oh, it's bit okay, but I'll reduce it further to 150. Yeah, I think this is okay. So now the dice image is added. Anyway, that is not aligned with it, aligned with the screen, but yeah, we will fix it later. So now we'll add one more component, that is button, to click it, right? For now, on pressed, I'll keep what I can say, dice change. Okay, and this child can be a text, maybe roll dice. Okay, we need to create this function, that is dice change. Yeah, super. Now I will save this file and I'll try to rerun. As you can see, we got the button here, but on click of that, nothing happening, but this is okay for now. So now we have added a heading, we have added a dice image, and we have added a button. Okay, so let's make this UI a bit better. For that one, I will add my axis size should be, I'll keep it as min, and I'll save, rerun. As you can see, we got it here. I think for now I'll reduce this a little bit more smaller. Yeah, fine. And we need to increase some spacing in between these components. That also I can do. Spacing, let's say 10. Yeah, I think this should be fine for now. And this roll dice button is not looking that great. So let's add a style for that text button. Style, that should be a text button. Sorry, style from. I'll say background color, maybe colors dot purple. Foreground color can be colors dot white, and let's say text style, that is from text style object. Let's increase the font size by maybe a 28, just a little bit smaller than the heading. Okay, I think this should be fine. I'll save it. Hot reload, yes. Right, you can see, I think it is looking okay now. The button, let's increase the size of this text a little bit. Yes, this is perfectly fine. Now we will update the dice change handler. Okay, so now upon clicking this button, this dice image should be updated, right? So what we can do, we can create a variable, say current dice is equal to set slash images slash dice one dot png. Okay. So now upon clicking the button, what I'm doing, I'm just updating this image with 5. Okay. I'll save it. So now we can refer this current dice in the place of this one. Save. Or maybe initially I will pick the number 2 so that we can see the changes here. So I will reload the application. Yes. See, after a hot reload, we can see there is the dice showing number 2. If I click this one, there is nothing happening, right? but we have handled that dice change event here, as you can see, even though that is not happening. So this is because the entire component is of the stateless widget, right? Now we are trying to change some data, and we are expecting this entire components, whatever we are using it here, to refresh with the latest data. But that will not happen if we use the stateless widget. That widget name itself says stateless. To make it work, we have two approaches. Okay, so one is to convert this entire component to a stateful widget, or to create a separate component for a dice image and maybe the button as a separate stateful widget. Because we have other components also in this page and they don't need any state change, so it is better to put these two components, that image, dice image, and the text button, into the separate class which will extend the stateful widget. So we'll try to do that. Let's say I'll create a new file. Maybe we can say roll underscore dice dot dot. Okay, so here roll dice extends stateful widget. Okay, again this requires a constructor roll dice. Again we'll call a super and dot key. Okay, again all the stateful widgets should override a create state method. Say override create state method. So now we'll remove this to do. Okay, stateful widget. Now this stateful widget is nothing but our roll dice. Okay, right. So now this should return something which we should create it now. So now every stateful widget need its state class, right? So that we need to create one more class, that is roll dice, which extends state of roll dice. So this is a private state class which is only available for a roll dice class. Okay, so now we need to return this underscore roll dice. So this roll dice state class should again override the build method, because this should return all the components which are dependent on the state properties. So whenever the state changes, what all the component needs to be updated, we should put it here in the roll dice state class, so that will override the build method. We'll remove this. Again put return. So what we need to return from here, so whatever the components which should re-render, right? So I'll copy this column component and I'll put it here, right? Again this styled text, it is showing error because we need to add an import statement for that, right? So current dice, you can copy it from the here. Both, I will copy both the current date, current dice, and dice change. So I will paste it here so that there should be no errors. That's it. So in the gradient controller, we can remove this column component and we can directly call roll dice. That's it. So now I'll try to rerun the application. Yes, see there is, okay, let me restart it once. So there is no change in our uh, application, right? But we have did a lot of things, but there is no change. So now what I'll do, I'll try to click this roll dice, right? Even now, this is not updating our image, because in our dice change method, we are updating the dice to point to different image, right? But even now that is not working. Okay, so this is because, see here in the dice change, we are just assigning a new value to the current dice. That's it. But because this is a stateful widget, we are not updating anything inside a set state method. To to see the changes in the UI, we need to use a method called set state. Okay, we need to update anything which should reflect in the UI inside the set state method. I'll paste it here. I'll save it. Again, I'll restart the application. If I do this, as you can see, this got changed to the whatever newly assigning image. Okay, so now this is working fine. Now what we need to do, because now we are hard coding it here, right? So we'll not do that. We'll do a random pick of a dice, right? So that we need to use a random method. Okay, again, that random method will be coming from import dart math. Okay, this is the package where we have a random method. So what I can do, I can put dollar random, okay, dot next int, because our we are dealing with the integers. Now maximum will be 6, right? The random will generate numbers from 0. So what we can do, we can add 1. Even though if the next int predicts 0, we are adding 1. So the minimum value will become 1. Even though the next int generates a random value of 5, then we are adding 1, that is 6. Okay, I'll save it. Again, I'll reload it. Okay, so now I'll click on roll dice. Now we got 3. Again, I'll click on, we got 4, 3, 2, 1. See, every time when I click on roll dice, it is keep on updating the image. So now our dice is rolling without any issues. So now we will add one more thing just to show our die number here. Okay, so what we can do, so inside the children's, I will create one more styled text. Okay, so now here I need to print the number whatever showing it on a dice image, right? Again, that dice image number is dependent on this random. So what we can do, we can create var random number, just number is equal to, we can assign this to the random number, and here we can directly use that random number, right? Semicolon. Okay, random number. So this random number we can put it here because this is integer and this styled text is accepting string. So we will do a toString method here. Save, restart. See, there is no relation between this number and the dice showing up there, right? And now it is not at all moving. Why? Because see, every time when we click on die roll dice, so this method will be get called, and inside that method we have a set state. But inside that set state, we are not calculating the random number every time. So this is outside the dice change method. So this is considered as a static value. So now what we can do, we can put that there. So inside this, if we go to random number equals to this, save it. And now I'll rerun this. So now roll dice 2, roll dice 6, 4, 3, 4, right? Now, why? Okay, now I'll again restart this application. Now it is showing null. Why it is showing null? Because see, the current dice is already having the default value, but the random number don't have a default value. This random number will have a value when only it executes a dice change method. So when the dice change method will be get called when we click on this roll dice, right? So before or without clicking this roll dice, so this random number will not have any value, right? So that is why it is showing null in the beginning. So we'll do a default assignment. Let's say 2 because we have a dice 2 here. So let's assign a random number as 2. Now I'll save it. I'll restart the application. Yes. See, now after restart, we have a in the dice image showing 2 and there is a 2 text here. I'll roll it. Yes. So this is about the dice application. that we were running the application throughout our development using iPhone 16 simulator. So now let us try running the same application in Android emulator once, and then we close the video. So that we need to again select the target. I'll select this device here. So it will launch the device. Yes. So now I'll try to run this. I'll quit this. And now again, I will run the same command. Now our application will be installed in our Android. Now I've got the options. I'll select one. Yes, our application is launched. Yes, as you can see, right? So we have a heading and we have a dice image, we have a button, and it is already showing what is the number we got from dice. I'll click on roll dice. Again, it is updating. You might get repeated numbers because we have very less number of combinations. Yes. So this is working perfect in both iOS and Android devices. So do let me know if you face any issues or if you need more information regarding any of these components which we have used in this application, or if you need any videos related to specific topic, please do let me know in the comment section. I'll try to answer for them. And thank you so much for watching this video. Please do like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.